earlier on the card in Dubai, 3-year-olds ran, and it's the beginning of these 170-point preps, which likely the top two finishers, should they decide to move on, would get into the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby that first Saturday in May. We're only 5 weeks away from the May 2nd Kentucky Derby, and a few horses here in Dubai have an eye on heading to Louisville. Let's take a look at the UAE Derby from earlier today in Dubai.
We're about to round the bend. Tap and Golden Barrows, the Japanese pair, flattened for the run to the judge. Multahedge is a length and a half away. He comes around their heels now and is about to give chase. Multahedge moved up with 250 metres left to go, went straight past the leading pair and went for home. Christophe Soumillon put his foot flat to the metal and the Derby's all over. Multahedge is absolutely tearing away. It's a matter of how far. Multahedge, eased in the run of the judge, has won the Derby.
An absolute dominant performance from Mubtahij for trainer Michael DeCock, who's known more for his turf runners than his dirt runners. He returns $4.40 for the win. Price is brought to you by Equibase, Moftool, and Golden Barrows. Complete the trifecta there. Andy, what'd you think of this performance? This is a horse that does have an eye on coming to the Kentucky Derby.
Well, the Twitter world was pretty crazy about this horse. They thought he was the Derby winner after the race, but I'm a guy who's not happy unless I'm raining on somebody's parade, and I think his big margin had a lot more to do with the horses behind him, coming to the U.S. 5 weeks after this race and winning the Derby, a tough task. And this race, in relative terms, compared to the World Cup, was pretty slow.
Wins a race, though, that is the closest of any of the preps, a mile and 3/16 to what that Derby distance is going to be, and does do it on dirt.
Well, visually very impressive. Certainly he has the stamina to do it. The problem is what Andy alluded to, 5 weeks and the big ship. Now, a lot of horses will have their preps 4 weeks before the Derby, but they don't have to go as far to compete in the Kentucky Derby.
The owners want to come. We will wait and see, but it looks like a very good chance Mubtahij will be coming to the Kentucky Derby. Well, it's March Madness, so we're all in the fever. It extends to horse racing as well. 5 weeks away from the Derby and a lot of key preps, obviously starting with that UAE Derby worth 170 points, 100 points to the winner, and a couple of preps later on this afternoon here stateside as well. We put together our own brackets, sort of NCAA tournament style here. And Mig, we'll start with you as we take a look at these different regions in the Southeast. You like a horse a lot named Upstart.
Yeah, Upstart. He's a New York bred. I'm a New York bred, so I'll come off as a homer. But this is a very talented horse who's never run a bad race. He has a lot of foundation. And his race in the Fountain of Youth, unfortunately, he was disqualified for interference. He's going to drift out and hamper the eventual runner-up. But I think this race showed that he's a good horse because I don't think he was at his best this day, and he still found a way to win, although he was disqualified. I think he's a horse that has never taken a backward step, and physically and mentally, he keeps maturing.
Officially, he has never lost. DQ'd in that last race, but crossed the wire first. It's going to be a rematch about 6 hours from now in that Florida Derby with It's a Knockout. As for Simon Bray, we bring him back now live from Dubai. And Simon, the 2-year-old champ, is a horse that you like a lot.
I do. I like American Pharoah a lot. I think he's been very, very impressive in his only start for trainer Bob Baffert this year in the Rebel. He got a kind of a late start. He was besieged with some foot problems earlier in the year, but it was a blowout win in the Rebel, albeit over a sloppy racetrack. Now, I know many people say, the naysayers say, he really hasn't had a tough race, and that's a hard thing to do, to go from a very talented horse who hasn't been challenged that much in the afternoon to 20 horses in a full field the first Saturday in May. But I think he's got the ability to do that. The word out of the Baffert camp, if you can believe this, is they think he's much better than Dortmund. Obviously, Bob Baffert will not go on record in saying that, and rightly so, but that's the word being based out in California and hearing those rumors each and every day. He's a very, very talented horse. He makes his next start back at Oaklawn Park in the Arkansas Derby.
Yeah, Dortmund, American Pharoah, both trained by Baffert. He was asked, who do you like better? He said, that's like asking me to choose which child I like better. He wouldn't do it. Andy, as for you, you like another horse that you're going to stick to on the East Coast as well, right?
I say I'm a bigger fan of Dortmund than American Pharoah and the chances for the Derby. And I like Richie's horse Upstart, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm looking to be a bit of a wise guy. And there's another Todd Pletcher horse besides its knockout named Materiality, who's running against Upstart in the Florida Derby. And if anyone's going to beat him today, it's going to be Materiality. I like the fact that he could blow up that whole Derby thing. He never started as a 2-year-old, just his 3rd start today. I almost hope he loses to Upstart and uses this race as a prep and moves forward. I want to pick a horse that's an oddball and a big price for the Derby.
He is lightly raced, only a couple of starts, but he's been brilliant so far, looking to overcome that long time jinx of never having run as a 2-year-old. We'll see if he can overcome that, should he get to the Kentucky Derby. We're going to take a break in the action. Of course, our next stop on the Jockey Club Tour on Fox Sports 1, the Coolmore Lexington Stakes on April 11th from Keeneland. We'll be on site live with coverage. That's the last chance to try and punch a ticket and get some points to the starting 8 in the Kentucky Derby. We'll be back with more to wrap things up from Dubai after this.